When I was young, my father would always push me, no matter the situation or the circumstance. I remember one day my 5th grade math teacher told me that I was not smart and I had no hope in passing the end-of-year exam because I was stupid. Now, 5th grade me at the time was feeling embarrassed and overall horrible. Of course he had to say this in front of the whole entire class, making me feel worthless. I didn't know what to do. So I walked around with my head down and had no pride in who I was. That night, I came crying home to my mom and dad, feeling like a disappointment and ashamed. My mom and dad looked at me and said, "Stop. You know who you are, and you know how much effort you put into the things you do, and you will not let some teacher let you think any differently. You are smart, and you will pass." That night, we got straight to work. I studied and learned more, and I would always push myself. And if I didn't, my dad would. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it ended up with me being annoyed at him and wishing he would just stop. But he said, "That is how you become the best." And who doesn't want to be the best, right? I was still fearful, though, of what would happen if my teacher was right. What would happen if all my hard work was for nothing and I still ended up disappointing my parents? Looking back now, I can't thank my parents enough for pushing me, because it has turned me into the person I am today, fearless. Now, this doesn't mean I don't get scared or nervous, because believe me, I do. But now, I choose to face it head on. Oh, and by the way, I ended up passing highest in my class that year. By a young age, we are faced with the unknown. From when we learn how to walk, talk, and swim, all things that are essential elements and will benefit us in the future. And if not taught, we would be put at a disadvantage from all the others. As babies, we weren't given the choice to cower. Fear was unknown to us back then. Now, we know what fear and disappointment are. Sometimes they go hand in hand with the unknown. With such a negative connotation to the word already, why is it a surprise that people stray away from the unknown? But by not choosing the unknown, you're depriving yourself of new experiences. And that is exactly why exploring the unknown is the most valuable thing you can experience in life. We have all gone through the frustration of having to pick a movie with our families. One wants to watch a movie about history, the other one about comedy, one about action, and at the end of the day, you waste more time in picking the movie than actually watching it. But one day we didn't argue. My dad put on the movie, and me at the time thinking this was probably going to be the worst movie ever. Me after the movie, let's just say I was in awe. I was fascinated by the movie. I thought, how have I never watched this movie before? It made me think so much about how life works and the possibilities of what goes on in the world. You might even know the movie. It's called The Matrix. And one of the most famous quotes from this film is, "The blue or the red pill." That is the choice that the main character, Neo, faces. The rebel leader, Morpheus, tells him that if he takes the blue pill, the story will end. Neo will wake up in his bed and believe whatever he wants to believe. But, he says, if you take the red pill, you will remain in Wonderland, and I'll show you how far the rabbit hole goes. Most of us in life would take the blue pill. We choose the illusion of certainty day after day instead of the chaotic truth of change. As a consequence, facts become irrelevant and misconceptions and fake news flourish. Yeah, taking the red pill will most likely expose information you didn't want to know. But being uneasily doubtful is much better than being comfortably mistaken. In the end, Neo picks the red pill. He figures out the truth, and he finds out that he's been living in a manufactured world called the Matrix. From his clothes to where he goes to work, all he sees is an illusion designed to blind him from reality. This is a problem that many teens face today. For example, Natalie has many friends. They talk all the time, and they're always so nice to her. But one day, someone comes up to her and tells her that her friends have been talking bad behind her back. At first, she is shocked. She doesn't know what to do. Should she confront her friends, or should she stay silent? In the end, she decides not to believe the truth of the matter. She's in denial because it is easier for her to keep on believing that they are her friends. She is scared. She is scared of what will happen if she confronts them. She is scared who she will hang out with because of her fear of the unknown. Natalie could have found better friends if only she had dared to venture into the unknown. This is not something that can only be related to teens today. As adults, it may be even harder for you to take risks. Some things that could be unknown to adults could be how to get out of an abusive relationship, how to ask for a promotion, or more importantly, how to ask for a vacation, because we all know that's a must-need. But we start to overthink before we even ask. What if they say no? What if I get fired? What if they think I'm lazy? In times like this, I like to think of Nike, and don't laugh at me, okay? But just do it. Just do it. You have so much responsibility, and let's be honest, as adults, you aren't supposed to make mistakes. Teens and kids can make mistakes, but not you. You're supposed to be an expert at this whole life thing. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Whoever told you that is probably struggling way more than you are right now. But that is the illusion society gives off. Society can play a really big role in people's decision-making. Society shapes us and decides what occupation is appropriate for us, how we should look, and to whom we should talk to. Society shapes us into who they want us to be. But as evolution shows, we are starting to outgrow society's social norms. Things that were back then are no longer now. Remember that you were born with the right to have your own beliefs, and if you let society change that, you're no longer yourself. In the past decade, many experiments have shed light on the role of social norms in influencing individuals' decision-making. For example, it has been argued that punishment and emotion are two key factors involved with norm compliance. So now you might be thinking that choosing the unknown will always turn out good, right? No, that is not always true. But many people do overlook a key element: learning. Though it may not have been the best experience, you ended up learning. So now if that situation were ever to come back again, you know what to do the second time around. You know not to make the same mistakes. The people that choose the safe path wouldn't. They would keep on making the same mistakes over and over again. The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, as the late Stephen Hawking said. It is the illusion of knowledge. The illusion of knowledge closes our ears and blocks off outside sources of incoming experiences. Don't let pride get in the way of you experiencing new things. It's okay not to know how to handle a problem. I know there were many times in my life where I didn't know what to do and I was afraid to make mistakes. Until Mr. Clegg, a wise teacher of mine, told me, sin boldly. Make mistakes. That is how you will become better. What I took away from that was, if you're willing to fail, or maybe be disappointed in the end, you will learn. So now some of you might be wanting to take a step forward and start exploring the unknown, while the other half of you are just ready to leave and hear another talk. But to those who maybe want to start exploring the unknown, but don't know how, an article by Sosa and Westbrook says, the three brain regions implicated with fear conditioning and extinction are the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, and the hippocampus. The article also says, extinction of fear occurs when the association between the conditioned and unconditioned stimuli is broken by repeated presentation of the conditioned stimuli. Basically what it is saying is that in order to break your fear of the unknown, or anything in general, you must repeat it over and over again until you are no longer triggered by it and then it becomes normal. So, whenever you get the chance to venture onto the untraveled path, take it, for that is the only way to break the fear. In the end, you can't learn how to deal with life problems just by reading a book. Only by going out and exploring the unknown will you truly understand. Just like Anna Moore Lindbergh says, and yet it is the unknown with all its disappointments and surprises that is the most enriching. And that is precisely why exploring the unknown is the most valuable thing you can experience in life. Thank you. Cool.